So first off, I had a few people reach out asking about what's the best air intake for an F-150, and I've had my Injen technology cold air intake about a year. So I figured I'd go ahead and do a review, let you guys know what I think of it after I drove it for a year. It's been it's been a pretty good quality product, but follow along. I'll show you what I like, what I dislike. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm going to show you guys what it's all about. Okay, so let's get started. So if you're driving around with a stock F-150, why should you get a cold air intake? Well, really, there's a few things that people say about it. MPGs, horsepower, torque, airflow, and then sound is how I'd break it down, to be honest with you. You know, your factory intakes, filters won't allow any sound basically. A lot of guys want that noise, and especially, my truck is a twin turbo. I just thought it would be a really kind of cool thing to add. So I end up going with the Injen. I put it in my truck. In my opinion, guys, the reason why this is one of the most popular mods people do, or performance mods people do to their vehicle, is because it's typically one of the easiest. When you think about it, the air intake's usually on top of your engine, so there's not a whole lot of stuff you're trying to work around. I would say it's a great DIY item if you're not real familiar with a lot of work on engines and so on, or mechanical work, if you say. In most cases, it took me, I think, and honestly, it was the first performance mod I did, and I think, and at that point, guys, if you didn't know this, like, I didn't do much before I got this truck as far as mechanical stuff, but so it was one of the first things I did. It took me right around 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. So the install was I would say very easy at this point, but fairly easy at that point. The other thing too that nobody talks about, guys, is it does make a difference of your engine bay. It makes it look a lot cooler. I've had people walk at my truck at shows and see that and just say, "Oh wow, this thing's huge," and really my engine's not huge. So it does make a difference in the engine bay appearance. Okay. Now my history of, does it really gain horsepower? Does it really increase MPGs, torque, airflow, all that stuff? Well, here's what I'll tell you. So I added this the intake before my truck was actually lifted, and when I lifted it, that probably affected negatively, the speed and all that stuff in my truck. So, but I will tell you, I did notice a bit of MPG difference. Not a lot, maybe a mile, mile per gallon, maybe I would say 0.8 per gallon, but I did notice a difference. The biggest thing I'll tell you is, my opinion is, the air intake, you're only going to get a big notice out of it if you complement it with something else. So for example, when I noticed the big difference is when I added my tuner. I've got a 5-star tune. It's a BDX tuner. When I added that, I think that was very noticeable. And then when you add the air intake to it as well, you're going to notice even more. If that makes sense. My truck, I've also added VelossaTech Ram air snorkels, and what that is, and I'll show you. I'll show you a little bit of video of that. But what that is, it basically it pulls in air from the atmosphere, and when you're driving, it pulls it in cooler. So, and I've actually, on my tuner, I've got a gauge that tells you the temperature of the air intake. And I'll tell you, I've seen it drop, the air intake drop from the point I take off to I drive about 30 to 40 degrees. And I can witness that, and I can prove it. And I do think those VelossaTechs help with that a lot, which would make the air intake, obviously make it perform better, because at the end of the day, the factory box was closed. So this the VelossaTech pulls the air into engine bay, that sucks it into the Injen Technologies air filters. So another reason why I did go with the Injen Technology air filter, guys, is it's not the paper ones like you have from factory. So there's some benefits with that, and there's some cons with that. So the benefit is you don't ever have to really, for the most part, buy another air filter. If I recall, it's about every 3 months you have to replace the factory paper air filter in your vehicle. I've had this one on for a year. not needed to change it. So now with that being said, is you do have to clean it about every 3 months or so. I take it, my air filters off, which it's been very simple. I mean, you just have 2 flathead screwdrivers, you unscrew, and then you take it, and what I do, guys, some guys I think wash them out. What I do is I use an air compressor. I blow from the inside of the air filter to make sure any particles get out of it, and then I take my my shop vac and I use it around the edges, on the outside of the air filter, and that's how I clean it. It doesn't take, guys, maybe 10-15 minutes tops. Pull it off and put it back on. Now, I've had it for years, so I'll tell you this, you know, I'm not sponsored by Injen, so I'm just going to give you a straight up truth. It was very easy to install. Everything come with looking good. It had that rough and black. You could choose from chrome or black. It came with that rough and black powder coat. I will tell you this, the one disappointment for me was the pipes themselves were fine. The bracket that holds everything together, I started to see some rust at the bottom of it after probably 7 or 8 months. Now here's something very positive about Injen. I reached out to him and says, guys, I've not even had this a year, and I'm pretty disappointed. And I sent them a photo of it. They were very sincere and apologizing. They said that's not typical for their products, and they sent me a whole new bracket. So you got to love a company who stands behind their product. And with that being said, I would buy another Injen Technologies air filter, because the performance is there. I think the workmanship's there, the quality of it's there. I get the sound. In my opinion, I've got a few buddies with the same engine. My opinion is, if you want a loud air intake, this is the one to get. All right, guys, I'm gonna roll down my windows just so you can hear the air intake a little bit better. And so just take a listen. This is with the window down. I've been driving around, as you know, with the window closed, so you don't get a lot of cab noise as long as you got your grommet closed and windows up. But I'm going to do a takeoff here real quick so you can hear the whistle. All right, hopefully that sound came out okay. Keep in mind, the whistle is the air intake, the blow noise is the blow-off valve, and obviously all the other noises is obviously the exhaust. So anyway, I'm going to take you back, and we'll go ahead and get this video finished up. I'll give you my closing comments and give you my advice. This truck, like I mentioned, is tuned. It does have an SPD downpipe, SPD turbo whistle package on it. So some of that noise you may have heard. It also has turbo smart blow-off valve as well. So that's some of the noises you hear. But I tell you, if you want the real good quality air pull-in noise effect in this truck, I'm telling you, before I added my exhaust or even the blow-off valve, you could hear that shh. Like you hear it suck in and all kinds of stuff. So if you're looking for noise, sound cooler, this is a great one to get. So with that being said, after 1 year, would I recommend this item? I do recommend the Injen Cold Air Intake. The filters themselves have been awesome. I clean them out pretty much every time I get an oil change. I either blow them out or I suck them out with the shop vac. The part in my engine bay cleans up easily. It looks nice. I get tons of compliments at car shows or anything else. I do think it catches the eye. So when I look at price point, I think it's very fair compared to all the other competitors they have. The Roush and there's several out there, Cobb, Roush, some other ones. I would definitely recommend this item. So anyway, guys, I'll wrap this up. If you have any questions or concerns or comments or anything else I could help you with, just drop a note down below. Hit me up on Instagram or TikTok. I'm at F150_boss. It would be greatly appreciated by the channel if you liked and subscribed. And other than that, guys, I just got to tell you, thank you for watching, and have a great day.